This was the week from hell. Everybody got sick. So they're throwing up with toilets that we can't flush. That was 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. Let me tell you a little story about a terrible week. We are talking about the week of April 5th. So I weighed on April 11th. I was down 0.7 pounds. So that was a great amount of weight for that week, I feel like. And that was a solid amount of weight loss, meaning it had nothing to do with salt weight that I was getting over because I had gone to a restaurant or anything like that. It was, I believe, solid, mostly adipose tissue, meaning fat. This was the week from hell. So Monday was fine. I thought the week was going to be normal. Then, of course, everybody got sick. It was the bad digestive flu type issue. So that was not my favorite. The other fun thing was that the weekend before we had noticed we were having a plumbing issue in the house. So we had a leak that was between the downstairs toilet and underneath the garage out to the main street. It was somewhere there. We didn't know where. So that was really fun. We found a plumber who we liked, and they were working on it all week. So they were trying to find that particular leak and see if there were any other leaks. So that took several days, meaning the water was mostly off during the days, which I do not recommend when your family has digestive issues. I had 3 kids home. I was sick, but I didn't have that. I just had like a terrible head cold and I was very tired for some reason. And luckily I didn't get those digestive issues. So they're throwing up with toilets that we can't flush. That was 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. I think in the past, this would have been something that caused me to overeat. I would have seen it as a very stressful situation and I would have used food to kind of self-medicate through it. This time, it wasn't like that at all. I was down and out. I wasn't super interested in eating anyhow. On Tuesday is when everyone got sick and was home. And also my husband, he was in Reno traveling and he was sick too. So we were all sick states apart. But me being the lucky mom, get to take care of everyone. I was really happy that I didn't get the same bug that they did. I was so out of it, and there's no way I would have made a salad at that point. I wasn't interested, and my stomach just didn't want it. I didn't feel that good. So I ended up having what sounded interesting to me, which was carbs, straight up carbs. I just wanted something simple. And they talk about when you're very sick with nausea, stomach flu, or something like that, they say to use that brat diet, bananas, rice, applesauce, toast, stuff like that. So I thought, okay, that stuff actually sounds good to me. So I ended up just going and my kids were having some cereal. I ended up having a bunch of frosted mini wheats we had in the cupboard. I ate a bunch of those until I wasn't hungry anymore. And I knew that wasn't something that was going to make me feel sick. That was safe. And then I just went back to bed. I didn't overeat on it either. It wasn't like a forbidden food that I felt like I had to eat so much of that I would get sick or something. This is a food I could eat anytime because of that work I've done of allowing foods to be okay, carbs and things like that. And so I don't overeat on these types of foods anymore, which if you know me in the past, like 2015, 2016, I was still in the throes of feeling very disempowered about my food and feeling like I couldn't have carbs around because I was just going to binge on them, etc. So now, 10 years later, feeling when I'm the most stressed out and I'm not feeling well, that I still don't overeat on carbs. That was a beautiful thing for me to see happen. I didn't feel crazy at all about food. I was able to help the kids get their carbs because they were so sick. They couldn't eat anything but just carbs. So then the next day, kids went back to school that day because it was just a 24-hour thing. I wrote down that I had a restaurant salad that day. I still couldn't manage prepping a bunch of stuff. So I had a restaurant salad with restaurant protein. It was delicious. It hit the spot. I was happy. And then on Thursday, I went back to making a salad at home. That felt good. I was like in control there. As I mentioned in my last video, my clothes were feeling really good, and I'm wearing these black pants again today that I recorded in last time. They're just like capris that I cut off because they were too long, but I feel really comfortable in them. They're not too tight anymore. It was so tight, and I could wear them, but it was really uncomfortable, and now they just feel pretty comfortable. Then at the end of the week was very fun too because my allergies started kicking in. So I got over that head cold thing, and then I started to have vocal issues and coughing because we're having a very dusty, dry time of the year here in El Paso, which is a lovely springtime for us. That's how it is. Every year I've been having this allergy issue, and I get allergy shots and stuff, but I still get affected a bit at the worst time of year. By Friday, I was worried that it was going to turn into like a full-blown cough thing that I've had for years in a row. So I went and I got a steroid shot, and here I am the next week. It's better. It's resolved. That's actually really useful for me. This is useful data because it's been a few years in a row now that I've been struggling with massive asthma type stuff because I am very allergic to the El Paso trees. I got through it this year very easily, so that was cool. That would be another thing that could stress me out, that I'd be upset about, that I might eat about, right? But it didn't. It was no issue. So the weekend was about recovery, all that digestive stuff, the plumbing stuff, then the allergy stuff. And now here's what happened over this weekend. I fell apart emotionally. My husband didn't get home until really late. I think it was like 2 a.m. or something because of delays from where he was coming from. He was so tired on Thursday night, I believe it was, because the next day we had to take the kids to school. Night, I'm starting to cough, things are starting to happen, and I fell apart emotionally when he came home. I had been trying to hold together for the week, trying to be pleasant, pulling their hair back when they're throwing up, cleaning things up if they don't make it. Like one of my daughters didn't make it in the middle of the night, and then there was just like vomit everywhere, all up the walls and everything. It was 2 a.m. So I had to get up. I lost like an hour of sleep trying to clean that up, just trying to hold it together as the mom. And I know anyone who's been a mom knows this situation where you don't expect this stuff to happen. In any other time in my life, this would have been like very stressful and I would have wanted to be eating, but I didn't. I credit that 100% to the work I've done over the last few years of getting over binging, getting over overeating, and really working to get over those things first before I tried to lose weight. That's the natural order of operations, is get over overeating first, get over binging, get over the feeling like you're a food addict, even if you're not, because most of us aren't, and we can talk about that another time, but getting over that stuff so that when everything hits the fan, you're not turning to food to make yourself feel better. My husband comes home and I just fall apart. I have to let this out. I have to let it be okay that I'm falling apart right now. Because I had been through something like this before with plumbing issues and kids sick and all that. And so it was just a repeat. And I was like, oh my God, husband, I just need to cry. I was sobbing and bawling and just letting it out. You're holding it together for so long and all of a sudden it just falls apart, and that's okay. So I let myself do that. The next morning, I was like, my eyes were super puffy. And I've been through days like that before too, where I had to just pull it together and bring the kids to school. But luckily, my husband was able to take them. He took the hit on the being tired because we were up until 2 or 3 with my sobbing and I could feel my nervous system like vibrating. I need to get this out. And then it really took another couple of days while I was doing the coughing and the steroids and things like that to calm down and to let go of what happened that week. So it's okay for stuff to feel really stressful. It's okay for us to hold it together until the moment where we don't have to hold it together anymore. That type of release and allowing yourself to do that kind of stuff where you just have your emotions, you just let them be okay without needing to eat about it. The way of having a nervous system that's not perfect, a nervous system that has actual responses to stress, and without using something that's unhelpful to try to fix it, to try to fix the nervous system. The way that the nervous system actually processes, this is not like trauma with a capital T, but we'll say a lowercase t, right? Like a really stressful week. The way that that nervous system process this type of small trauma is by falling apart at some point, letting it out, letting it have been really hard, letting that be okay. All this to say that we can do this even when times are tough, that we can learn how to let our nervous systems process how they need to, and we don't have to eat about it. So it doesn't have to affect the weight loss journey. These life things, they happen randomly. And if we're always trying to do this perfect protocol in order to lose weight quickly, when life happens, we're not going to be able to stick to that protocol. So better to have a protocol that works in all times. I call this the pilot light. Better to have a protocol that works in stressful times and regular times so that we don't feel any interruption in how we're eating when stuff gets crazy. Let's talk about the amount of weight that I lost was 0.7 pounds, which to me is the right amount of weight. I'm really trying to do Tortoise Lane, tortoise in the hair, Tortoise Lane type weight loss, which is, in my definition, it's 1/4 of a pound, a 1/3 of a pound to 3/4 of a pound per week. I'm not trying to do this 1 pound or 2 pounds a week thing, especially not 2 pounds a week, because I can't manage to do that every week with the way that my life is. 2 pounds down in 1 week means pushing. And if I'm trying to push every week, some weeks everything goes crazy and then I can't push. And then if I'm overeating, I've just undone all the progress that I did getting that 2 pounds the week before. And so I realized that the way to do this long term is to try to only do 1/4 a week or 3/4 of a pound a week max. And that's what happened this week, where I was able to have a day where I'm eating all frosted mini wheats, and I was able to have a day where then I'm having salad again because I actually really like the salad. And you put all that stuff together, you put a stressful week together with what I ate, and it's 0.7 pounds down. That's safe weight loss for the body. That's a type of weight loss that the body can actually handle and do every week no matter what's going on, okay? So this philosophy that I have, method that I have about losing weight in a very slow way, you will still get motivating events while it's happening. So we often think, oh, I have to lose 2 pounds or 3 pounds or 4 pounds at a time, so I will starve myself so I can see that number on the scale so that I'll feel motivated. This slow way that I'm talking about, we often think it's too slow, but it's actually not. If you lose 0.7 pounds every single week, you get a motivating push every week, even if it's only 0.7 pounds. You will feel that in your pants. You will feel that in the way your body moves. Every week you'll get positive motion, and that is enough motivation. You just have to find a way to get on that pattern of 0.7 every week, and you'll feel better every single week. That's enough to keep you going. It's the wrong order of operations to be trying to lose and push and go to active, super push type energy weight loss. First thing is to learn how to undo the overeating. Once we've learned to permanently undo overeating, then this type of 0.7 pound weight loss per week, it takes care of itself. We don't have to push to do that. That happens just from rhythm. And then I want to say that if we actually do the math here, it is April 2026. I've done the math that if I were to lose 0.7 pounds, I would be at my goal of, say, 135, 136, I don't know. I would be at my goal in 1 year, in 52 weeks, okay, ish. And then I think to myself, every week until that happens, I'll be down in weight. And that is extremely motivating. I like that. And so thinking being down 35, 36 pounds in a year, that sounds like I know I can do it because it's not a push food-wise. I also know that my body will adjust over time to what it asks for when we're doing it in a slow, safe way. So that means that as I'm getting down to 160, 150, my body's going to ask for less food because it doesn't need as much. It's not trying to get up 10 pounds or something. It's actually comfortably losing the fat. And as it's comfortably losing the fat, it just doesn't need as much food. And so that's a slow enough way of losing weight. As we go down, we're not going, oh my gosh, I just lost 20 pounds so quick. Now I want it back. The body doesn't do the set point thing anymore. It doesn't do that weight defense, trying to defend where we were because we're doing it in such a slow way. The way I'm looking at this is by 2027, I'll be where I want to be. And so I'm constantly letting that be okay, constantly going, no, we don't need fast weight loss. Fast weight loss is what leads to up and down, and then it leads to just maintenance over this year. Do 30, 40 pounds down in a year. That's the type of weight loss that I can sustain. You're listening to the Set Point Science podcast, where we learn passive forever weight loss for women who usually have trouble keeping the weight off. I'm your host, Cheri Alberts, a weight loss coach who gained 50 pounds after 3 kids and cancer. On today's episode, we're exploring the science of the Tortoise Lane and how to finally reset your metabolic thermostat so that weight loss becomes permanent, even when life throws you a week from hell. So while 0.7 pounds might not look like a miracle, when we really look at it scientifically, it's the gold standard. It's the only way to lose weight without your brain fighting you every step of the way. So I'm not just losing weight, I'm convincing my body that it's safe to let go. So we talked about my week from hell. We've talked about how I managed the stress without turning to food, but I want to dig into why that 0.7 pounds that I lost is actually more valuable than if I had lost 5 pounds this week. We touched on this before, but there's a concept in biology called set point theory, set point science. See what I did there? Think of your body like a house. Your brain, specifically that hypothalamus that we always talk about, it's the thermostat. It has a temperature, or in this case, a weight that it thinks is safe and normal. When you've lived at a certain weight for a long time, your body builds its entire infrastructure around that weight. It adjusts your hunger, your energy levels, and your metabolism to keep you exactly where you are. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant survival mechanism, and this is why for years you might have felt like no matter what you did, you always snapped back to that one number. It's not a lack of willpower, as I say all the time. It's not an issue with your discipline. It's the internal thermostat doing its job. It's trying to keep you in that home area. Now, let's look at what happens when we do the fast lane or the hare, right? Like the tortoise and the hare approach. When you go on a crash diet or a high intensity push for a little while, like a fast or a cleanse or something like that, you're essentially ripping the thermostat off the wall saying, this doesn't matter. I have to do this fast. So if you drop weight too quickly, say 2-3 pounds a week, your body doesn't think, oh, we're getting ready for a wedding. This is totally fine. It thinks we are in a famine. There's a food shortage. We must be dying, right? It sounds dramatic, but that's actually what's happening in there. Scientifically, this then triggers a massive hormonal SOS. Fast weight loss is actually a biological glitch that the body is designed to fix. So your levels of leptin, we've talked about before, it's that hormone that tells you that you're full, that you've had enough. Those plummet. Your levels of ghrelin, which is the hormone that makes you feel hungry, it skyrockets. And it does it all on purpose. Here's the kicker. Your body also becomes more efficient at storing energy, which is what we talked about last week, adaptive thermogenesis. Mathematically, it looks like this. So if your usual metabolism burns 2,000 calories a day and you starve yourself, you're essentially telling the thermostat, hey, take a vacation. I don't need you. I'm going to run the whole house on 1,500 calories and that's it. It might work for a bit. Seems exciting. You can do it for a bit. After a while, you really start to notice that you're working twice as hard to eat 3/4 of what you need, and your body continues to fight you on that decision every inch of the way because it's panicked. And then the second you stop pushing, we talked about this in an episode before. This is the closet effect. Come out of that closet from that strict diet and all of a sudden, whoa, the thermostat kicks in with a vengeance. It screams at you to eat everything in sight until you're back your original weight. Plus a little bit of padding in there just in case another famine happens. This is the cycle of our last 10 years or our last 20 or 30 years. This is that fast lane that actually leads to a dead end. It's the slow way. It's the really slow way when we look at it over our whole lifetime and see where we were and where we are now. It's super slow. Let's take a look at what we might call the actual slow lane, the tortoise way, the one that actually wins the race, right? So when I lose only 0.7 pounds in a week, or 1/4 of a pound, or 1/3 of a pound, in a week where I was sick, the plumbing was broken, and I was eating frosted mini wheats, I'm doing something actually revolutionary there. I'm recalibrating that thermostat without triggering the alarm. So think of it as like under the radar. Because the change is so gradual, the hypothalamus doesn't freak out. So we don't trigger that hypothalamus. It says, oh, we're down 1/2 pound or 3/4 of a pound. No big deal. We're safe. By losing weight at this pace, we're not fighting our biology. We're just kind of whispering to it. There is research suggesting that it takes about 6 months to a year of maintaining a new weight for the body to accept that as the new set point. Think about that. If I try to do this the hare way and lose 30 pounds in 2 months, my body spends the next 10 months trying to get it back. But if I do it the tortoise way, by the time I reach my goal, my body has already had many months to adjust. It's already started building new pathways. It's not trying to snap back because it has forgotten where that old home ever was. And I did the math. Remember, today's April 2026. So if I stay in this slow lane, losing roughly 0.7 pounds a week, maybe even a little bit less, I'm going to hit my goal of around 135 pounds by April 2027. Now, here's the thing. Some people, I'm sure there's many of you listening who hear this and you think like a year from now, and that sounds discouraging. We say, a year? I want to be thin by summer. I need to be thin by XYZ. But I want you to really look at the reality of that 10-year struggle we've all been through. How many summers have we spent trying to lose the same 20 pounds? How many years have we wasted in the cycle of losing 10, gaining 15? So if I take this year, this one intentional, slow-moving year, with the foods that I like in quantities that are satisfying, and I reach 135 pounds in 2027, I am done. I'm not just at my goal weight. Now I have also a body that wants to be at that weight. I have a nervous system that knows how to handle stress without a binge because I've gotten over binging and overeating. I have a pilot light protocol that works when the kids are throwing up and the toilets won't flush. And I did it with food that I actually enjoyed. Once I'm there, I'm not looking around for my long lost loves and going, oh, finally I can have you again, because I've been eating them the whole time. See, the slow lane isn't just about the weight, it's about the permanence. By April 2027, the 135-pound version of me won't be on a diet. She will be just living her life because her thermostat has finally been reset in a way that doesn't make the brain panic. So when you look at the scale and you see this small number, maybe just a quarter pound or half a pound or 0.2 or that 0.7 that I had after that week, don't diminish that. That number is proof that you're winning the long game. You are outsmarting a biological system that's been evolved for thousands of years to keep you exactly where you are. So you're not just losing fat, you're teaching your body a new way to exist. It's April 2026. We have plenty of time. Let's stay in the slow lane together because I don't want to be thin for the summer. I want to be free for the rest of my life. Until next time, may your toilets flush, your heart stay open, and your 0.7 be the loudest victory that you celebrate all week. Hey, thanks for listening to the Set Point Science podcast. Did you like this episode? Let me know in a comment section somewhere, maybe on YouTube or on social media, what you thought, if you have any questions on this. And remember, I made you a new thing recently. It's a free 3-video mini course training on this passive weight loss method that I'm talking about that I'm using to lose the weight. So if you want to learn to do it the slow way with weight loss that lasts forever, you can download that at setpointscience.com/passive. I have included the transcripts with each of the videos so you can read it faster and take notes if you need to. Again, you can get that at setpointscience.com/passive. See you next time.